Joe Hopkins here, and today I'm going to go over the 10 best live acts I've ever seen, and 5 that weren't so hot, right? Why only 5 of the worst ones? Because I haven't seen that many acts that were really all that disappointing. You know, most of the bands I've seen have been really, really good. There are a couple that were like, you know, but I've seen a lot of really good ones. Now, I tried to put them in order, right? From the least of the best to the best live acts I've ever seen. And I think I made a pretty good list. I think I more or less got it. So let's go over this. What do we have at number 10? Well, I have Metallica. I saw Metallica back late 90s. I guess it was 98, 99, something like that. They were on tour for Reload, and they were absolutely amazing. Amazing live act. Why are they number 10? Because, well, I saw some shows I thought were even better. If that surprises you or something. But I do have to say, Metallica, they are that good absolutely every time they play. From what I've heard, every show is awesome. So they are consistently good. And they were absolutely amazing, right? So let's go on to number 9. Who's at number 9? Gloria Trevi. If you don't know who that is, she's a Mexican performer. She's kind of, rock and roll kind of stuff, man. I like her music. I've liked her albums for a long time. I really like her stuff. And then I saw her live, and absolutely stunning. Her live performance was, how did she beat Metallica? Because her live performance is that good. It was over the top, I'd say. The woman is absolutely an amazing performer. Her live show, I always liked her music, but her live show was something just more. Just absolutely more. Yeah, if you don't know who she is, look her up. And if she comes around on tour, even if you're not into that kind of, music, or you don't speak Spanish, it's worth checking out. Her show was great. So who's at number 8? Well, The Warning. I've seen The Warning twice, and absolutely great both times. Yeah, they would be higher on this list if I had seen one of their live shows that they recorded. Every time I've seen a live show of theirs, it was recorded for, and put on YouTube. It's always like even better. Those were some of their best shows. But both times I saw them, they were solidly, really, really amazing. Yeah, they have to be on this list. And, keep in mind, they're coming above a lot of bands that you'd be surprised that I consider them a better live act. And we're talking about live acts, not just the bands themselves. The Warning, I love The Warning. Their live show is solidly good. Really just better than Metallica? Yeah, their live show is better than Metallica. Now, keep in mind, I haven't seen Metallica recently. Maybe they're better. I don't know. But The Warning now is better than Metallica was then when I saw them. So let's do number 7. LL Cool J, right? I got to see LL Cool J, I guess it was 90 or 91. I think it was in 91, something like that. I think Mama Said Knock You Out had just come out. He was the opening act. The opening act. He was better than the main act. We'll get to the main act. They're on the other list, the not so good list. But LL Cool J, man, that dude killed it. Absolutely killed it. Couldn't believe how good it was. And I was in the cheap seats. This was an arena show. I was up in the cheap seats. And from the cheap seats, he shook me. That dude was amazing, right? So let's see, number 6. Who could number 6 be? We're moving up there, right? Dio. I'm sorry that y'all ain't going to get to see Dio. He died. Ronnie James Dio was amazing. He has passed on. He is one of the amazing acts that I got to see before he died. But his show was absolutely stunning. The dude was amazing, amazing performer. It got me, right? And once again, he was the opening act. Sometimes, man, the opening act turns out to be so good. You know what I mean? This was another of those times, and he was just way better than the main act. Way better. So let's move on here. Rage Against the Machine. I saw them back in, I guess it was 97. Absolutely amazing live act. If they get back together, because every now and then they get back together and do some stuff, they're worth seeing. I don't know if they would be as good now as they were then. That was at their height. It was, you know, it was a particular period of time, and they were absolutely. I don't know if the entire thing was them or maybe the live experience overall, because the audience was absolutely nuts. You know what I mean? They were one of the top rock acts in the world at the time. And, man, their fans are crazy. Absolutely nuts. That show was off the hook. Absolutely off the hook. Right? But if they get back together again, go see them. You know what I mean? Number 4, right? Who could number 4 be? Holy Wars. And that's the funny thing. Once again, they were an opening act who, they were opening for The Warning. And I have to put them higher on the list than The Warning, mostly because as much as I love The Warning, Holy Wars killed it. Absolutely killed it. And the crazy thing is, I don't even like their music that much. I'd heard their stuff, listened to their stuff, thought it was so-so. Live, they absolutely slayed it. I don't know if they're like that every night or if they were just having a particularly good show. That's one of the best rock performances I've ever seen. It wasn't a terribly long set either, but they just absolutely shook me. I was so impressed. The next day I looked up their music to make sure, like, is it really, I thought it was like meh, but I need to check it out. And I listened to it again. I'm like, yeah, really, I find it to be meh. If you really like them, you know, that's fine. I was like, no, their music doesn't really get me, but live, holy crap. Whatever they did live, man, if they could do that on the record, you know what I mean? That would be, yeah, something else. But number 3, even better, Wu-Tang Clan. Yes, I saw Wu-Tang Clan in 97. They were the other act on the bill with Rage Against the Machine. I think Wu-Tang Clan came out first and then Rage played second. But Wu-Tang, oh my God, they were off the hook. That was, once again, maybe it was the crowd, maybe it was the experience, but I don't think it was just that. Wu-Tang was next level, absolutely amazing. They did such a good job, and wow, that you once again, it's like with Dio, you can't see that again because the whole clan isn't around anymore. Some of them dudes just aren't with us now, but that's back when they were all there. That's before old ODB died, old dirty bastard. He hadn't died yet. He was still with them. Amazing show. Absolutely rocked me to my core. All right, number 2, and I just saw them a little bit ago, Mana. That band, yeah, absolutely amazing. There's only one other act I've seen connect to an audience like that, and that's my number 1 pick. But Mana, just total audience connection. The whole experience was amazing. These guys are such shockingly good performers. Even if you don't speak Spanish, you don't know what they're saying in their songs, it doesn't matter. They are, holy crap, so good. So good. And the songs are so good. I love them for their songs, but the performance, this is all about how good they are live, not on a record, right? And Mana is so good live. My God. Next level. Absolute next level. And can only really, in my opinion, be beat out by one other person. And that is one that my number 1 pick. Sadly, you can't go see him now because he's no longer with us. And that's Chris Cornell. I saw Chris Cornell play at a club in Columbus, Ohio, right? This has been back in like '07, I think. He was on his Vault tour, so he's playing stuff from all across his career. And I've never had an experience at a concert quite like that ever. It was absolute magic. I can't believe how much he connected to the audience. It's like you were part of something just by being there. Absolutely stunning. I did see him again open for Linkin Park, and he was good, but that experience wasn't quite that. Him as an opening act wasn't what the same as with him as the headliner. And I'm sorry, that night was absolutely magic. I don't know if all of his shows were like that or if it was just that one. I don't really know, but I was seriously moved. And it went on for so long. He played for almost 4 hours. Like the guy just kept going and going and going. I'm like, is this every night? This is stamina. You can't do this every night. But it was absolutely my number one concert experience of all time. And that's coming above a lot of these others on my list that are all amazing shows, but that was a night I'll never forget. Now, I do have some honorable mentions just because I saw some bands I think I caught them on not their best night, like Black Sabbath. I saw them in '99 when they got Ozzy back. And Ozzy, they would have made this list. It was close. It was really close just because I think Ozzy had a cold that night, but the dude was still amazing. You know what I mean? He even said he had a cold. His voice wasn't quite up to everything. It wasn't, they were amazing. Not quite good enough to make my list. Another one that was close, Childish Gambino. Honestly, that dude is fire. I heard he's not doing music anymore, and that's a shame. That was, again, one of the best concerts, worth seeing. You know what I mean? Another honorable mention would be Brandi Carlile. She's amazing live. It's just, I don't know, not quite enough to beat out Metallica, you know? Sorry, but I do have 5 of the worst acts I've seen. Now, keep in mind, some of these are, unexpected. But some of them you'll hear and you'll go, yeah, I get it. Some of them you probably never heard of because they didn't stick around very long, probably because they weren't that good. I went to see Milli Vanilli. That's who LL Cool J was opening for. It was worth going to see LL Cool J, and the act before LL was Young MC. He also killed it, right? I didn't buy the tickets. My friend's mom got tickets. Now, keep in mind, this is back, early 90s. Milli Vanilli was one of the biggest acts in the world. And it was just utterly disappointing that the band that's at the top of the charts, or performers, they're not really a band, top of the charts at the time, the whole lip syncing thing hadn't come out yet. Although I imagine they were lip syncing on stage. Maybe that has something to do with it, but you'd expect better. You'd expect a better performance from the biggest act in the world. Top 40. These guys had number 1 hits. They should have been better. They are the number 1. I should have started at the bottom of the list. That's the top. That's the number 1 worst act I've ever seen. And it's not just because of how lackluster the whole thing was. The music was all on point because it was pre-recorded. So it sounded just like the album because it's the album. But the performance. And these guys were supposed to be, before they were Milli Vanilli, they were professional dancers. They were professional performers. It should be better than this. It was really, really boring. That was a boring night, right? So now I'm going from number 1. I'm going to work my way down to the least bad of them. Number 2, right below Milli Vanilli, D-Generation X. I don't even think they're around anymore. That was a really unfortunate thing for them, an unfortunate show for them. They were a last-minute opening act, and they weren't very good at all. They were really, really not good. They were a last-minute opener for Kiss, who also I should put down as an honorable mention. This was in '96 when Kiss first got back together. Amazing show. Absolutely top-notch. They were supposed to have Stone Temple Pilots open for them. And then Scott Weiland just couldn't stay clean and went back into rehab. So they got Alice in Chains, who were on tour. When their tour was done, they were going to join Kiss. I think it was 2 shows after the one I saw. So this was in between. I didn't get to see Alice in Chains. I didn't get to see Stone Temple Pilots. Either of them probably would have been amazing. I got D-Generation X, who they got at the last minute, and they were just some shitty punk band and really kind of sucked. And I kind of felt bad for them because the whole audience was booing them the entire time because they weren't what anybody wanted. And I imagine having a terrible audience probably doesn't help inspire you to be any better. So what can you say? I doubt they were any better on their best days because I don't think they're around anymore. Number 3, Atari Teenage Riot. They weren't as bad as D-Generation X, but they weren't, yeah. They weren't. I forget who they were even opening for now. Might have been Metallica. No, it wasn't Metallica. They opened for somebody, and it just wasn't very good. Yeah. I didn't, nah. It was Metallica. It was. All right, number 4. And this band, they weren't bad. It wasn't bad. It was a solid show. It just wasn't what I was expecting, and that's Scorpions. They sounded just like the album. They did a good long set, and it was good. I liked it. It just wasn't. The opener was Dio, and he was absolutely amazing. Then Deep Purple came out, and they were not as good as Dio, but damn good. And then Scorpions came out, and they more or less just stood there and played the songs competently, exactly like they are on the album, which is great. But I kind of expect a little bit more from a live band. I expect more, a little bit more. And I didn't get it. And especially from a band that should be as good as the Scorpions are, I just expected more. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm hoping someday I'll see somebody bad enough to knock them off this list. But then we got number 5, the least bad of the bad, and that's the Indigo Girls. I can't fault them too much because I'm not really a fan. I went to see them because I went to see Brandi Carlile, and she was amazing, but it turned out she was the opening act, right? I was supposed to be seeing her. I didn't know she was opening for the Indigo Girls. So I can't fault it too much. I thought they were really boring. The one thing that made them not as bad, in my opinion, as the Scorpions were, was the fact that Brandi Carlile came out and did a bunch of songs with them. And she did their songs so well. Oh my God. She did the Indigo Girls songs with the Indigo Girls, and it actually made it pretty good. Brandi was amazing when she was out on stage with them. But the part of the set where it was without her was just boring. It was just plain boring, right? I'd put them as worse than the Scorpions, except for the part with Brandi Carlile was really great, and the fact that they did well. Maybe it's just not the kind of music I like, but if Brandi could do it that well, their songs, Brandi could sing The Phone Book, and I'd listen to it, though. That woman's amazing. But yeah, so there's my list. 10 of the best shows I've ever seen, and 5 of the worst. So, alrighty. And, tell me what you think. Tell me your thoughts. There's comments down there. You could do that. And what are some of the best and worst shows you've ever seen? And, yeah, like I said, some of these bands, they're not even ones that, like Holy Wars. Not even a band that I like all that much. It's just what they did live. moved me. I tell you what, I got to mention another honorable mention it's like I almost put on this list, and that's Beth Hart. That woman is absolutely amazing. I got to see her the other year and blew my mind. And just so you know, quite a number of these I have done reviews on, concert reviews. I'll put my playlist at the end here, on the end thing, and for concert reviews, if you want to see how good or bad some of these were. Because obviously the ones from the 90s, I don't have, I wasn't doing YouTube back then. It didn't exist, so I wasn't doing it. But some of these I do have reviews on with footage, if you want to check it out. So, I'll see you guys in the next video. I love y'all. Peace out, baby. Bye-bye.